This is Edward Chuka, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use Fusion 360 to model small boats that can hold pennies and float in water. And you can see how many pennies your boat can hold before it eventually sinks. Let's get started. Okay, this is a fresh Fusion 360 model. I would start by sketching on the bottom plane, and I can create a rectangle to start with using the center point rectangle if I like. There's many ways you could do this. I'm going to go 60 long by 30 wide. Okay, it should look like a boat when we're done. Next, I'm going to create an arc that goes from the center point. Let's make a line all the way to the front. And then I'm going to make a line that goes just to this side and hits the center point. And then I can create an arc, 3-point arc, and I can click on the first two, and then if I kind of bend it, we can have something like this. And you probably want your boat to be symmetrical, so I would create a mirror of that line, and using the line that I first created, and okay. So it's starting to look like the front end of a boat, and that's a starting place, and I can actually now just extrude that shape, and I could extrude it, say, a distance of 20 millimeters. And that would actually create the basics of a simple boat. Look at that. Okay, and now I can use a tool called Shell right in the middle, and I can click the top surface, and it's actually going to remove most of the material here, and it'll just leave the wall thickness that I define. I'm going to define it to be 0.8, and in 3D printing that means it'll be 2 layers wide because the nozzle is 0.4, so it'll make 2 passes all the way around, so it should be watertight. And then I say okay, and I actually have a printable boat. That is the first default boat that I showed you. It's a very basic design. This one only weighed about 3 point something grams, and in our challenge you can go up to 10 grams, so you can get fancier. You can do other shapes for the bottom, so I'm going to back up my play marker before the shell, and I can do something cool called a fillet. And I would fillet the bottom, and I could do the whole face all at once, and I could say a number like 5. And okay. And now I have a neat little curved bottom, and then I could actually move my time marker forward, and it actually shells that shape. So it's really neat. You can see the curve on the inside. Okay, so you could get crazy. I could delete that fillet, and it would actually go back to my first design. Okay, and so now I could get creative and maybe make, I don't know, a slot for a coin. So I could sketch right on the bottom, and I could do, you know, a coin slot. So there's, figure out the size of a penny, and set your diameter, and then I could extrude, press E, and pull that one down to a certain depth. That's one strategy you could try. And then I'll actually take away that shelling because it wouldn't have done it on my bottom part, but I could do the shell again, take away that top part, 0.8 for the thickness, and it would actually create my hole there, make sure a penny would fit in there. Or if I don't like that, I can get rid of that extrusion and that sketch, and I could try other things like making a keel. Maybe you might want a offset plane from the bottom for like a keel. I'll make a simple example. I'll just say okay to that, and then I'll sketch on that plane. I'll make a simple rectangle. You're going to want to make sure it's centered, so I'm going to use the dimension tool to make it a certain distance from the center. I could say like 1 millimeter from the center, and then the other one I could do the same thing and set it to 1 millimeter. And then I could go finish that sketch, and I could then use a tool called loft. I could loft from that surface up to my rectangle, and I could say okay to that, and that would create a triangular kind of bottom. And I could move my shelling. I could delete my shell once again, and this time I could shell it with this bottom keel on it, taking away the top and having a width of 0.8, and now I've got a keel shape. Okay, down in the bottom. So there's just some of the examples that you can try when you make your boat.